I've made the vow we're letting this show come to us. We're trying to play a lot of Christmas stuff. This segment, we're considering Merry Christmas from the Family. The last play of the year. I know. I know. But there's a lot of, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big one to roll out. That's BB Shea's favorite. It's my wife's favorite. And so we're considering it here for this segment. But we have the good, the bad, the ugly as well. Good story. This is interesting because this woman is almost exactly my age. She lost her lunchbox when she was in the 4th grade in 1982 at an elementary school in Roanoke, Virginia. A plumber found it 10 days ago, and they were able to track her down. And the reason is her mother had written inside the lunchbox on a piece of masking tape, property of Tracy Drain. That's her name. Tracy. Her maiden name is Tracy Drain. Now they have returned it to her after all these years. It's a Heathcliff, the Heathcliff cartoon cat. It's a Heathcliff lunchbox. She remembers losing it back in 1982 when she was in the 4th grade, and she's thankful to this plumber who found it. They were doing some work at the school, and he found it wedged in. It had gotten behind a wall, and it had sat there for, 42 years. Now she's 50, and she said, I treasure it because my mom's handwriting, who's now passed away, is in the lunchbox.
I think it's amazing. Like I said, if I would have been the person that found it, I would have put it on eBay. It was finders, keepers, losers, weepers. But like I said, it's very interesting to be able to see it. Like I said, as far as remembering it, I do not, but it has my mom's handwriting, which I'll treasure. She made sure that I'd be able to find it. Just never knew it would take 40 years to be able to track me down.
That's little Tracy Drain. She's not as sentimental as some.
She does not recall her Heathcliff lunchbox?
She does, but she'd have thrown it up on eBay had she. I thought she said she did remember.
I thought she said in the clip, remembered, I do not.
Oh, I thought she said, let me see.
Can we hear it one more?
Yeah, let's see what she has to say.
I think it's amazing. Like I said, if I would have been the person that found it, I would have put it on eBay. It was finders, keepers, losers, weepers. But like I said, it's very interesting to be able to see it. Like I said, as far as remembering it, I do not.
Oh, she doesn't even remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not as heartwarming as you think.
Terrible. This is terrible. And plus, she's like, I'd have sold that thing on eBay for sure. I do like that she says my mother's handwriting is in masking tape on. I saw the piece of masking tape.
You know, when it comes to cartoon cats, Heathcliff gets no
love.
It's Garfield is still kind of the gold standard.
Heathcliff, I didn't even remember the name until I heard this.
But he was an animated cat, I think, as well as in the funny pages.
Yeah. Heathcliff. The something cat, isn't it? I don't remember the descriptor word there.
Did you guys carry lunchboxes? Because I remember what mine was in grade school.
I had a Peanuts lunchbox.
G.I. Joe.
I was a little more dainty. I was Peanuts, and he's G.I. Joe. Did you have one?
No, I didn't eat at school.
Right. Sure, Jan. Sure, Jan. Did you have a Brady Bunch lunchbox? Sure, Jan. Did you? I don't think lunchboxes are like they used to be.
Well, they don't look like they used to.
And it used to be.
They used to be metal.
That's what hers was.
Yeah.
And it with the metal lunchbox. And by the way, the thermos was still inside it. All the stuff that comes with a lunchbox. Red Rachel, you're much younger. Did you have a lunchbox at school?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you a single one of them, like what they looked like. They're just bags, insulated bags.
The freezer or
the bags,
little coolers.
Yeah, exactly. They're insulated. But it used to be that was kind of a big deal. Like, what's your lunchbox going to be? You know, for the year.
I always wanted a partridge family, but that was your era. I think my mom probably thought better of that.
Right? Yeah.
Because I love Keith Partridge. What can I say? I love David Cassidy.
And BB Shea fasted the entire lunch.
I never ate.
The entire day at school.
What did you do?
I didn't eat.
You didn't?
No, I never ate.
At school?
No.
13 years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you went to community college.
Very few times that I ever eat at school.
Is he getting any nutrition at all?
No, none.
How was did you eat breakfast?
No, I would just wait until the end of the day and I got home and then I'd eat everything.
Well, yeah. So
what did you do during lunch?
Did you hate the
I just sat there and just talked, socialized.
So you didn't like the lunches?
It wasn't the fact that I didn't like it. I just never ate. Yeah.
Never ate.
No.
How strange.
Every now and again, I've convinced somebody to buy me some chicken poppers or something, but that was it. Yeah.
Chicken poppers.
Yeah.
This is from school also. A guy in Detroit found an old library book that he forgot to return. He's had the book since 1971. They waived the fine. The fine should have been $4,500 for the library book. But they waived it and got a good laugh out of it. Apparently, and this is the guy Chuck Hildebrandt, he said, let's do something with this. Instead of just finding the book, let's make something out of it. So he started a fundraiser to go to Reading is Fundamental, and he put in the first $450, which is 10% of what it would have been, the $4,500 fine, and now it's taking off.
I was going through the books on my bookshelf. Oh, yeah, Baseball's Zania Stars. Oh, wait, that's a Dewey Decimal number. Uh-oh, what's this? I'm driving through Warren, and I'm saying, why don't we stop by the library and talk to the director? And at some point, she said, I'm very disappointed you would keep an overdue book for 50 years. And I'm seeding the first 10%, or $457, into the effort myself. And since then, we've gotten some pretty good activity on it. I couldn't be more pleased. The more money that we can get for a great cause like Reading is Fundamental, the better it is.
The reason the library didn't want the book back, you may have heard the title, Baseball's Zaniest Stars, and the book was published in he checked it out in 1971. So they're all like 50s and 60s players, Baseball's Zaniest Stars. And so the library says it's too outdated. We would
be like Eddie Goodell.
Yeah, I guess. They took
Who was the clown?
The Clown Prince of Baseball.
Yeah, remember the guy who he would just kind of run around the periphery of games.
He was in Bull Durham.
He was in Bull Durham.
The Clown Prince of, and I forget his name, but he was and he's probably in it. And I don't know whoever else.
Maybe Ty Cobb for being racist or something.
Yeah,
that's zany back then.
Yeah, exactly. Very zany.
Yeah,
that crazy Ty Cobb.
Oh, the zany Ty Cobb. He'll spike you at second base. Whatever. Yes, Ty Cobb or Whitey Ford. Maybe he was always like a prankster. That's fun. Mickey Mantle. We have
he showed up drunk.
Zany. I mean, it's crazy stuff. I don't know if you want to call this a bad story or not. It's certainly out there. Talk about zany. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, was doing his weekly radio interview yesterday. He does this after every Cowboys game. And apparently, oddly, the topic of strange meats to eat came up because they just played the Panthers and won. And one of the Panthers players had commented that he ate raccoon.
Xavier Legette.
Yeah, said he
now,
ate
was that his Thanksgiving meal or just came up? Strange meats.
I think it was just strange meats that came up, and Legette had commented that, yeah, he eats exotic meats like raccoon. And so they asked Jerry Jones, have you ever eaten raccoon? And he said, oh, yes.
I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes.
That broadcaster's out of my playbook.
I've heard that exact phrase before from a DJ in this room.
That's right. That DJ.
Yeah, I used to eat a lot of raccoon. And what do you say to a gazillionaire who said, yeah, I eat raccoon?
I eat raccoon. But that's not his favorite. He went on to say, raccoon is good, but squirrel is better.
But one of my favorites is squirrel. And it's wonderful, and my mother could do a great job of it. And we all had our favorite pieces, and my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just my sister and I as far as siblings, my mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man.
And delicious, seriously.
So he loved the squirrel. The brain was the best part. And his sister and his dad would fight over the brain of the squirrel.
Oh. You know, it's a sad state of the Cowboys football team when they do a weekly radio show with the owner. They don't talk about football.
Well, what else are you going to, they're not probably going to make the playoffs. No. And, earlier this year they made news because, of course, they said, why didn't you bring in somebody in the offseason? And Jerry Jones says, if you ask me a question like that again, I'll fire you. So they've turned to asking about his
raccoon and squirrel,
his dining habits. Same group. He's on there every week.
Now, we've had people call this program before and sing the praises of eating squirrel, but I've never heard of squirrel brain on the menu.
That is,
that's crazy. What is that?
Tiny.
What's the size of it?
Like a little nut.
Like an acorn, maybe? A little smaller?
And I'll bet you.
Tiny.
So you'd fry up probably a dozen squirrels and have a dozen brain balls.
You pack them together?
I was thinking they'd be like little hush puppies, or little chicken nuggets,
Or like a popcorn shrimp.
Yeah. But it's brain, popcorn brain, popcorn squirrel brain. A lot of people like squirrels. I mean, a lot of people have called us over the years to say how much they like squirrels. Jody may be the next. Jody, you're talking about squirrels. Jerry Jones enjoying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I never just had the meat by itself there, but my grandma growing up, she made some of the best squirrel stew. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, man, you can't beat it.
Squirrel stew.
Yeah, we've often heard that squirrels, I guess, go into stew.
Yeah, a lot. And we've heard...
you can't get that much meat off one of them.
Well, you know what Jerry Jones was saying was he would eat the leg. Is that what you would, like squirrel legs? You ever had that, Jody?
No,
just
I'm not. I just had it in stew there.
Yeah, and no brain, obviously. Ugh. Chris Tibbs picking.
Open up a chicken wing restaurant with squirrel.
People love it.
It's smaller than those little ears of corn.
Now, now this call is 15 years old, but a P1 listener once told us that he and his daughter ate squirrel and other exotic meats to the point that they wouldn't eat meat from a restaurant.
Yeah, I've been eating squirrels since I was a kid, and I love them. There's nothing no better. That's all we live off of here where I live. That's what we kill. No, I ain't bought no meat in probably 20 years. My youngins, my wife, we eat squirrels, groundhogs, deer, doves, quail, rabbit, fish, frog legs, about everything except skunks and crows and buzzards. Other than that, we're going to eat it.
What do you do when you go into town and go to a restaurant?
Well, it's about the only time we eat domesticated meat, as a matter of fact, is when we do eat out.
Any of you ever get sick because of it?
No, be honest with you, I used to stay sick a lot, getting stomach viruses and stuff when I eat out a lot and when I had store-bought meat. And when I quit buying that, hardly ever get anything like that anymore.
And what's your favorite of all these different meats?
Probably squirrel. I think that's the best meat. I fry them a lot. My little girl, my daddy spent the day with her one time when she was little, taking her out and tried to get her to eat something at McDonald's, Burger King. Said she wasn't hungry, didn't want nothing. She come in, and I had been squirrel hunting that day and was frying squirrels and making cream gravy with it. And she come in and she 3 or 4 legs, and I caught, the backstrap out of it down the middle.
What did you say? Backstrap?
That's like the tenderloin,
Yeah.
The good meat, the prime off the squirrel.
The prime of the squirrel is the backstrap. Filet mignon.
That's down the backstrap. Where are you envisioning that? Down the back of the squirrel?
Gotta be, right?
Yeah, that's it. Backstrap.
And he said his little girl ate the legs.
Yeah, that's right. Legs, but I've never heard anybody, except for Jerry Jones, say brain.
Brains.
And it's the best part of the squirrel.
Now, my father-in-law ate brains and eggs. What kind of brains were those? Cow? Or is that, no, he can't be cow brains.
Pig?
Maybe.
I think pig. Because cow, that's your...
And make you crazy. Yeah. Give you mad cow.
My grandmother would eat that. Brains and eggs.
Yeah, he would love brains and eggs for breakfast.
My grandmother did too. She would scramble up with eggs. And I'm looking for more protein.
Huh?
Hey. In the next year, I'm looking for more protein. We had another P1, Jackie, said that in college, he had a friend, and it had something to do with squirrels.
I had a friend of mine that when he was back in college that there was 4 or 5 of them living in a house, and they took turns every night cooking. And he hated to do it. I mean, every time his night came up, he just hated it. So he decided to stop his cooking career. One night, he just cooked up a big pot of rice, and he used to squirrel hunt, and he had probably a dozen squirrels in the freezer. And the way he cleaned them was, he cut their tails off and their heads, just left little stubs for their legs.
Oh, God.
So he fried it up, put a big dollop of rice, and stood the squirrels up in the middle of the rice. And that's what he served. That was it. His cooking was over.
He didn't want to cook anymore, so he stood them up.
This is your last supper, boys.
In the rice to show the squirrels, and the roommates never wanted it again. This is a great cooking segment. Has there ever been a better lead into Merry Christmas from the family before? I mean, we've promised it at this time, and thanks to Jerry Jones and his squirrel eating, we've got it. Robert Earl Keene, 2 Guys Named Chris Show.